Reverend Jamie Boyle. I am the newly installed bridge minister here at the First Congregational Church in Milford. So even though it's only my second day here, I was just asked if I could, thank you. And we came from a different event. I was asked if I could say welcome to the Merrimack Valley Ringers tonight, and to let you all know that we're in for a wonderful, wonderful experience. So here we go.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Leonard. I'm the Artistic Director of Merrimack Valley Ringers, which means I have the great privilege to work with these fine musicians almost every week for most of the year. Welcome to MVR's Spring 2025 concert series, which we're calling Celestial Light, which will take you through some musical time and space travel. We will experience a sunrise in morning light, the twinkling of light refraction in prisms, a trip up and away to the Fairy Hills in Ireland, to the Ashokan Reservoir in New York, to the moon for some moon dancing, and then finish by walking on sunshine. We began the program with Fanfare and Entrada by Jason Krug, one of our favorite composers, and I must credit composer Sandra Ethan with the 8-measure processional that brought us in. We are going to continue with one of my all-time favorite handbell compositions, Resonances and Alleluias by Kathy Mopelbust. I think one of the reasons I like this piece is the way Kathy weaves the original motif throughout the music in all 3 sections through different tempos, keys, and in various voices right to the end.
Our next piece is an arrangement of an adaptation of an idea. The melody of Morning Light was composed by American pianist John Schmidt in collaboration with Carl Sandquist, who Schmidt says took me aside one day and played an idea he had on the piano. Upon his request, I helped him turn the idea into this song. It reminds me of the gentle drama of watching the sunrise and of new beginnings. In this arrangement for handbells, we begin with singing bells, the stirring of nature's awakening. Enter a tolling D6 bell, an insistent invitation to witness the dawn of a new day. And we have chosen to use one of our new silver melody bells for a different texture and sound. Midway through the piece, there is a fortissimo that would seem to signal the struggle to break through the darkness, and then resolves to a softer dynamic that might evoke the completion of the process. The work is done, the day begins. In addition to performing this piece in our concerts, we will be playing it with over 300 of our closest friends at our festival conference later this month, where we'll have the honor of being directed by the arranger herself. Listen now as the sun rises in Stevie Berryman's arrangement of Morning Light.
Prisms by William Payne is a piece that invites us to listen with our imagination. The title itself is a hint. Just as a prism takes a single beam of light and splits it into a full spectrum of color, this piece uses a simple musical idea and then transforms it. That idea is echoed and reflected like light bouncing through glass. The music moves in waves, always changing. Listen for moments of brilliance, big ringing chords, and also melodies that shimmer like sunlight on water. There's also a sense of motion throughout the piece and a feeling of flowing energy. Listen for how the musical phrases rise and fall and how patterns are passed from one section to another like a conversation of light. It sounds to me like William Payne had a lot of fun composing this piece. It's contrapuntal with the themes stated in overlapping voices, and at the ending it gets stretched out so it takes up twice as much time. As you listen, let the music unfold like a spinning crystal window ornament, revealing new shapes and shadows with each rotation.
Our next selection is an original composition by Caleb Onstead, a 25-year-old who has been working with handbells for 19 years. And yes, if you're doing the math in your head, he started ringing bells at age 6. I have met and rung with Caleb, and I know there's always a story behind his original works. So I asked if he would share some thoughts about Serenade. These are his words. Serenade is extremely personal to me. The piece is written about and for Amy, and basically it's a musical description of what happens when love just doesn't quite work out. This piece is full of heartache. It takes you through frustrations and romantic overtures, both given and received. It's also a piece about the nature of love and the fact that love can be flawed. In particular, the middle section is almost like the road not taken, a dream where things work out, followed by a waking and a lashing out, and ending with acceptance. He says, I think a part of me will always love Amy, but on many levels, it wasn't meant to be. As you listen to Serenade, I invite you to reflect on your past relationships, their struggles, heartaches, and reconciliation. Enjoy Serenade by Caleb Onstead.
One of the neat things about playing handbells is that many of the composers are still with us today. Imagine, if you will, being able to reach out to Bach, Beethoven, or Schubert and ask, hey, what was your inspiration for this piece, for this set of measures? Is this a misprint? For our next piece, Up and Away, we were able to do just that. Karen, our director, reached out to Jason Krug and asked him if there was any special meaning or inspiration for the piece. He responded as such. There really is no grand story behind it. As I got working on it, it felt very cinematic, sort of like a superhero type theme, so I thought of the old Superman line, up and away, and kind of stole the title from that. It's not strictly or overtly a Superman reference, but in my mind, there was a definite superhero or superhero movie type of vibe about it. So, with that in mind, listen for the distant approach of our superhero, the whoosh of a cape as our hero flies by, the cheers of the crowd, the triumphant energy on display towards the end of the song, and put on your capes and tights and join us for Up and Away.
Hello. The title of this arrangement that I created earlier this year is The Fairy Hills, a translation of the original Gaelic name of the tune, Shibeg Shimor. It's a classic in the Irish whistle repertoire, and it's also been played on harp and fiddle for centuries. The tune is often credited to Turlough O'Carolan, who was a blind Irish harpist and composer who probably wrote it around the year 1700. Shibeg Shimor means Little Fairy Hill, Big Fairy Hill. It may have been inspired by an old tale of two fairy tribes who were constantly at war, but thankfully they've since called a truce. In some versions, the hills are actually fairy burial mounds, so yes, it's a lovely melody with just a hint of the macabre. But don't worry, no fairies were harmed in the making of this arrangement. This performance and this concert series is actually the world premiere of the Fairy Hills. You'll hear Angela on the whistle, and also listen for hand chimes and later some lively malleted bells. It begins with one of my favorite sound colors, the haunting hum of the singing bell.
Our next piece, Ashokan Farewell, was composed by Jay Unger in 1982. Though written in the style of a Scottish lament, it was originally intended as a farewell tune for the Ashokan fiddle and dance camps in upstate New York. The piece gained widespread recognition when it was featured as the theme for Ken Burns' 1990 documentary series, The Civil War. Its haunting melody, played more than 25 times throughout the series, led many people to believe it was a true Civil War era song. I first heard Ashokan Farewell back in high school during history class. We watched all 11 hours and 20 minutes of that documentary. I didn't know that then, that this one melody would stay with me. But 25 years later, I still catch myself humming it and finally thought, has anyone arranged this for handbells? Thankfully, Sandra Ethan did just that. Her arrangement beautifully captures the longing and nostalgia of Jay Unger's original composition. I leave you with a few of his lyrics. My thoughts will return to the sound of your laughter, the magic of moving as one, and a time we'll remember long ever after, the moonlight and music and dancing are done. I hope this melody stays with you, just as it has stayed with me, long after the music of this evening is done.
What a marvelous night for a handbell concert, isn't it? Our next selection was written by Northern Irish singer-songwriter Van Morrison in 1968. Fun fact, he wrote this while living in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Moondance is a song that does not easily fit into any category. It is a little bit rhythm and blues, rock and roll, soul, and jazz. This is perhaps why it is a favorite of mine and has become a rock and roll classic. The original recording features both flute and saxophone, certainly not your typical pop rock instruments. This version of Moondance was arranged by Sandra Tucker, a well-known composer for handbells, choir, organ, and flute ensembles. Given her passion for both flute and handbells, it was only a matter of time before she got around to arranging this classic for handbells. It's a marvelous night for a Moondance.
The next piece, Ron Mallory's arrangement of Fly Me to the Moon, starts out innocently enough, like a polite dinner guest, gentle and elegant in 3/4 waltz time. But don't get too comfortable. Pretty soon, the rhythm shifts into a smooth medium swing groove, and suddenly our polite guest is dancing on the table with a jazz band behind them. Originally written in 1954 by Bart Howard, this classic tune was first popularized by Kay Ballard, but it truly rocketed to fame when Frank Sinatra recorded it in the 1960s. That version even made it to the moon, literally. It was played on a cassette tape aboard Apollo 10 and 11. So yes, astronauts actually flew to the moon to fly me to the moon. You'll hear mallet clicks that also add some rhythmic spice, sort of like a jazz drummer tapping on the rim of a snare. The malleted bass bells imitate the deep thunk of an upright bass player, keeping it all nice and steady. And listen closely for spots where one melody is climbing up while another one slides down at the same time. It's sort of like musical escalators going in opposite directions. And how does it end? With 3 unmistakable chords known to every jazz musician as the Count Basie ending. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. You'll definitely recognize it when you hear it.
Before we play our final selection, we would like to thank some of the people who made it possible for us to play here today. Number one on the list is always West Chelmsford United Methodist Church, which is my home church, for allowing us to use their 5-octave set of handbells and hand chimes and for rehearsal space. Thanks to Holy Trinity, this is the wrong one. That was last weekend. Thanks to First Congregational Church of Milford, and to Kim Whitehead for hosting us and for providing a reception where we can greet you following the program out in the room out there. Most importantly, thank you for being so enthusiastic and welcoming. The audience is a very important part of our performance. We respond to your energy and enthusiasm, and you become partners with us in the concert. There is a basket at the door for a free will offering to help us with the purchase of music and the printing of programs, and especially to fulfilling our mission to reach more and more people with the joy of handbells. There is information about our CDs in the program and our new handbell USB, which I told myself I was going to bring from there over to here, but I didn't do that. The USB is the handle. Pull the handle out. I thought so too. It was my design. 2 of our 4 CDs that we've recorded in the past are permanently out of print now, but all 4 of our CDs are on the USB, and it costs less than the cost of 2 CDs used to. So Kim and Angela are going to be out at the back there at the table, and they'd be happy to talk with you if you'd like more information about that. It's not a sealed USB. You can add more to it. You can add some of your own music, or you can add other files. So here we go, Walking on Sunshine, Evie on drums.
We do have one more if you want to stay just a few more minutes. Well, we have a special piece chosen for you to end our concert. It's Hallelujah. Oh, wait, no, not that one. Not the one by Leonard Cohen. And if you're out there humming, Hallelujah, it's not that one either. Sorry, we did that one at Christmas. No, this is a tune known as Southern Harp. And Matthew Compton has masterfully set this in a special way. And Matthew is the director of Bells of the Cascade in Washington State and the Pikes Peak Ringers, based in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and the co-director of a new auditioned national handbell event called Zenith, which I'm very honored and proud to be a part of. As others mentioned earlier, we are very fortunate to have direct access to many of our composers, and I did reach out to Matthew about this, and he said he didn't have any particular story, he just liked the tune. And quite frankly, it's hard to argue with that. He has used a driving Celtic-like rhythm to propel this piece forward at the beginning and the end, and he does use the chimes in the middle section to create a very ethereal effect. Before I finish, because I just have the microphone, and I just want to say thank you in particular to Scott and Carol Whittier, who are up here, who are responsible for so much of what we do around here. And they are facilitating our live stream. So hello, everybody out there or watching later. We really appreciate you tuning in with us. And on a personal note, it's just so much fun to see so many familiar faces out there. So thank you for being with us today. On behalf of all of us in the Merrimack Valley Ringers, I thank you again for being here and trust you'll enjoy this version of Hallelujah. You may not have known it on the way in, but I am quite certain you will be humming it on the way out. Enjoy.